ask Morgan, Amy, and Bill Stoll to give a testimony of their own mountaintop experience with the Lord this morning. After each testimony, we are going to sing the refrain of Now in This Moment, hymn 96, so you may want to have that open, and we're just going to sing the part, this is our story, this is our song, and Mary Dan's going to lead us in that. So we'll go ahead and start testimonies.
So today for my testimony, I'm going to talk about spec, although I know some of you have already heard this last summer, but I'm going to talk about it again. So for the past 2 summers, I've gotten to go to this camp, which is held at the college I'm attending, Grayson University, up in Lamona, Iowa, and basically it is a camp. It's like there's sports, but it's also a Christian camp, so it's kind of like a nice little mix. And I mean, it's really had an impact on my life. Already last summer, I was talking about, like, the day I got back, I was just like, all right, I'm ready to go back. When is next back? And I don't know, it's just something about it. It's like you meet all these different kids from around from around America. So like there's literally a delegation group of kids from almost every single state now. And they have like concerts and praise services, and usually there's like a kind of like a service activity we get to do. And this year it was helping pack school bags for kids in, I believe it was in orphanages. And it basically gave them like coloring books, writing utensils, stuffed animals, shampoo, soap, toothbrushes. So it's just like really a nice experience to come together with other kids from around Community of Christ, just to kind of, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of the kids there have like some mountaintop experience where like it's all like similar, I guess, in a sense, but like you experience things in your own way. Like you can experience mountaintop experiences through sports, devotions, friends, just connecting with other people, like, and like just sharing those experiences, I guess, was like my mountaintop experience. Like it was just so nice to be able to connect with other kids my age and like just share the gospel and like share experiences. And I believe that this, like just meeting all these new kids and like having all these close friends has really helped with my life, because just recently a kid from our delegation who I was really close to, he died in a car accident just this January. And we have a group chat with all the kids from my delegation on Snapchat. And we were all able to come together for each other and just talk about memories and stuff that really helped like deal with it. And it was just so much fun to like connect with them in the middle of the year, not even at spec, just talking about how much we're gonna miss him and how much an effect he made on our lives. And I mean, he was just one example of how our lives were changed. Because he was one of the kids that you could go to and just talk. So like it was so easy to talk to him, and he was so willing to just sit down and talk with you, and he was always asking how your day was. And if you were sitting by yourself, he would always go over there and be with you. And I mean, he was just like a light in the world that really like changed my spec experience, and I know next year is going to be so hard without him, but like it's so good to know that I have friends who will support me through this experience of meeting them, because I mean they all live in Kansas, so I would never have met them if I hadn't have gone to spec. So, and then I know that my life will, like, this is something I will carry with me through my whole life. My 3 years at spec, it will always be something I look back at and be like, this changed me. This had a big effect on my life, and I'm so grateful that I got to attend those years. So.
Thank you.
This is our story, this is our song, praising our Savior all the day long. This is our story, this is our song, praising our Savior all the day long.
Good morning. I wanted to express an experience I had with a mountaintop experience with the Lord. While attending college at Northern Illinois University my sophomore and junior year, I volunteered as an NI guide during student welcome days. Each guide was assigned to a small group that usually lived in the same residence hall as me or the other guides. We, the guides, would help the new students carry in their belongings, give them tours of the residence hall and tours of the college campus. Some of these students were freshmen and others were transfer students. No matter what background the students were from, they all were excited about starting their college experience at NIU. I really enjoyed helping to guide the new students in their new journey on a college campus. I remember when I was a freshman at NIU, my NI guides were great friends that made new welcome days so enjoyable and felt like I belonged to a fellowship of common people. The guides also participated with their groups at various entertainment venues such as the Welcome Day Dance, volleyball, and the DeKalb Corn Fest held in town. Even when student welcome days was over, we all felt a great fellowship to each other when we could bump into each other on campus. We all became great friends that would sometimes have lunch together or play volleyball. Even though NIU campus was not on a mountaintop like Jesus' experience in Mark 9, like we explained, there is a similarity of the same situation. God wanted the 3 disciples to listen to Jesus while they were on the mountaintop. So he said to them, "This is my son, listen to what he says." New students listened to me as an NI guide and followed what I said. I'm sure other NI guides felt the same as me. God wants us to be good and faithful people. God says, look carefully, listen attentively, and sense the Spirit among you. This experience wants me to continue God's journey to love others and to shine as bright as the sun, like Jesus does.
This is our story, this is our song, praising our Savior all the day long. This is our story, this is our song, praising our Savior all the day long.
I'd like to think of my life as a continuous mountaintop experience. But think of the being a mountaintop experience. As I watched the video, I also saw lots of valleys. Yes, we have mountaintop experiences and valleys which we define as sadness and trials in our lives. And I thought momentarily about the 23rd Psalm. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I am with you. Yes, I've had many mountaintop experiences, testimonies that are meaningful to me and perhaps others. I have had many doubts in my life, wondering, is God really out there? Questioning, and yet coming back with the reassurance as I listened to Morgan and her beautiful experiences at Spec. I've had that kind of experience, Morgan, and you'll have many experiences in front of you. Savor those experiences. They define who you are, and they make it possible for you to look to others and see the marvel of God in their lives. Yes, I've had valleys. This past year has been a valley in a sense, and yet in spite of the emotional trauma that my wife and I have experienced in our family and the move here to Branson, there are also mountaintop things to talk about. The beauty of what I see in each of your lives, the testimonies, the fact God led me to a very close friend here in Branson, a friend that I spend time talking about things of God. Yes, there are mountaintop experiences that I can talk about in my life, and there are valleys. But God has been with me throughout all of these times and will continue. One of the advantages of age, and I've got a number that I can talk about, we can look back and see the marvels of God in our lives.
This is our story.